Hello everyone, my name is Clarissa Gossett and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about how to make this cute Halloween pillow. I used Floriani Total Control to do it, and I used a function in the software called Wordplay. So let's go ahead and open up our software down here. Here we go. Alright, so first of all I needed some small designs to add between the lettering. You notice here I've got some cute little tiny designs for Halloween that go between the lettering. So let's make some designs. Now why would I make them? Because I can. I've got clip art, or excuse me, not clip art, but JPEGs that come in the software that I can turn into embroidery designs. So I'm going to use my magical wizard hat. That's this right here. And I'm going to click the down arrow and click the wizard hat. This is my auto digitizing wizard. And I'm going to select an image. And what opens up are images that come with the software. So these are JPEGs that come in the software that I can auto digitize, or I can manually digitize them as well. If you're not sure and yours doesn't open to this screen, let me show you where they are located. So they're located on my C drive in Program Data, Floriani, TCU, Library, and Images. Alright, so let's scroll down and look for some Halloween images. Let's choose this candy corn right here. Click there and click Open. Click Next, and there's a picture of the JPEG. Here it's asking me if I want to crop it or change the size at all. I think I want it to be about 1.5 inches wide, so let's change the size here to 1.5. And of course you can resize it when you're done, but let's just change the size here and click Next. It found 3 colors. Good. Click Next. Click Next. And finish. Let's see that in 3D. I have a candy corn, and that wasn't hard at all. Now what I can do with this is I can change fill patterns, change angles, and add some things to it. So let's select the yellow parts here, click here, and touch Control on my keyboard to get the next section. And once I've got that clicked, my Properties box opens with the variety of fill patterns that I have. I can change from a fancy fill pattern, a motif, stippling, or a textured fill pattern. Let's click a fancy fill pattern just to see what our menu brings. And here's the first one. And look at all those fun fancy fill patterns I could select to fill that candy corn. Let's just click the first one here, the little grid, and click Apply. Oh, how cute. That turned out cute. But let's say I want these to be a little bit smaller. Let's select the yellow again. And let's see right here, my stitch length, my emboss scale. I want these to be maybe half as big as they are. So let's change this emboss scale to 50% and click Apply. That's even better. Cute. Since it's not very large, I don't want big fill patterns. Let's select the orange, and let's go with one of our standard fill patterns. And let's pick, I think pattern 7's cute. It's just stripes. Click Apply, and there we go. Look how cute that is. The last thing I did to it was I put an outline around the entire outside edge to kind of maybe hold it in parameters. So I'm going to select all items, or you can do a Control A on your keyboard, touch Control and A. And then I'm going to use this icon at the top called Create Outlines. Click here. Excuse me. I only want one ripple. I want it to go around once, and I don't want any spacing between the object and my outline. So I'm going to leave that at 0, leave this at Cascade, and click OK. And magically, and we'll see it in our sequence view here. I've got this at the end here, a piece of artwork. If you open that up, you'll see that it's artwork. So it's made an artwork outline for me. So click on the artwork. And once it's selected, I have all my one-click wonders down here available for me to use. So I'm going to use, of course, a run stitch. Click run, that's the far left. And then I'm going to change that run stitch up here. This run plus sign, click there, and the bean menu opens. A bean stitch is a stitch that's done in odd number multiples. So I'm going to select bean, and I want it to repeat 3 times on every stitch, and click apply. That way it'll be a little more dense. And lastly, I want this to be black, my outline to be black. So I'm going to click on this magnifying in the left corner, and I happen to know, because I've used it enough, that black is color 900. Click find, and there's black. Click there, and now my outline is black. And it's come in on the edges a little bit, which is fine, because as this stitches out, it will shrink up a little bit, and that outline will still end up on the outside edge. Beautiful. Now I've got a candy corn to use. So let's get a new page and let's digitize something else. We've got lots of things to choose from in the Halloween menu. Click our auto digitizing wizard, the drop down, the wizard hat. Click select image. Let's go down. We have a ghost, we have a hat. If you go down a little further, down here, looking down here, number 98 is a black cat. And looking down further, I've got a pumpkin down here. Let's see, there's a jack-o'-lantern, that's number 024, PRB 024. And I think that's it in this menu. So let's do the ghost. Going up. There's the ghost. Click on it. Click open. Click next. And it's asking me about the size. 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Let's make it about 2. Click next. And it's found 2 colors, 1 and 2. 1 is the background. Always the background will be the first color. Click next. And it's asking me, do I want to fill the background color area? That will fill here because it's white, and here. I don't need this filled, so I'm just going to leave it. Click next and finish. There we go, I've got my ghost. Let's see that in 3D. Well, by the way, if you'll notice, my toolbar on the left might look a little different than yours because you have some tools that are hiding down below. If you hover over on top above 3D, you'll see those little dots that are kind of hard to see. If you hover over it, you'll get a plus sign, a big cross. If you click and drag that, it'll move that bottom toolbar. And I want it to be right to the side of my other toolbar. There we go. Because I have tools down here that I can't see if I don't have that toolbar moved up. Alright, so let's play with our ghost a little bit here. First of all, if we zoom in on the stitches here, we can see that they are more of a fill pattern than they are a satin stitch. Click my plus next to the ghost. It says satin path, but it's pattern 1. Pattern 1 is a fill pattern. I want this to be a satin stitch, so let's click here. In the drop down menu, I've got satin, so click satin and apply. That's more of a satin stitch. Let's see that in without. There we go. So there's our satin stitch. Let's zoom back out by double clicking the magnifying glass. There I've got a satin stitch. Beautiful. Now what if I wanted to fill the ghost? How would I go about doing that? Well, I could click around it, but remember I've got that artwork tool that can make an outline. So if I select the satin path, click this in the very center where it says create outlines, and I want one ripple around, no spacing, click OK. Now if we look down at the bottom of our sequence view, there's our artwork outline. So let's select it. And then we're going to use, remember our one-click wonders down here at the bottom. Click this purple star, and that's a standard fill pattern. Great, now it's all filled up with a red ghost. Just what I wanted, right? No. So first of all, I need that to stitch before I need the black to stitch. So I'm going to right-click on that color, and we're going to move it to the first. There we go. So it will stitch the red, or let's change that to white, and then the black. So let's click here. Let's go down to our find thread, the magnifying glass, and 800 is white. 800. Click find. There's my white, and now I've got a white ghost. The fill pattern that it automatically chose doesn't work real well down here, so let's play with that a little bit. I can do a couple of things. Select it, and over on the left, the third one down, I have my shape tool. So if I click the shape tool, I can change the angle of that fill and see if it maybe does a little bit better at a different angle. So drag the yellow line. The yellow line has black dots on the end. So if you hover over it, you can see that at the end of my mouse, the little square black dot means that I've got that selected, and then I just drag it to whatever angle I want. Once I've got it where I want it, I right click, and that angle looks much better on that ghost. All right, beautiful. Now we've got a ghost to put on our pillow. Last of all, I wanted a bat, and the happy menu of little things to play with doesn't have a bat, darn it. So let's close that. So what I did was I went out to the great old internet, did a Google search. So let's go out to the internet and search Google. I wanted bat outline and enter. Look at that. Look at all those bat outlines I have. So let's select, how about this one? All right, let's right click on it with it selected, right click on it, save the image as, and find a place to save it. Let's just leave it on our desktop, and I'm going to call it BAT, B-A-T, and click save. Great, now I've got a bat. So let's go back to our software, and I can take that bat and put it through my auto wizard here, auto digitizing wizard. I've done it. It didn't turn out really well because the artwork is not all that great. I'll just show you real quick. It's on my desktop. Let's go down to bat. It's very, very pixelated. Lots of pixels. So it did the best it could, but let's see. Look all the colors it found. It should be just black and white. Okay, but it found all these hints of gray because around the outline is a little gray and a little, the pixels are a little different color. Let's click next, next, and click finish. And that's what I got. That's not what I wanted. So let's open a new page, and we will manually digitize this bat. So to load anything that's not an SVG file, that was a PNG file, I click on the backdrop tool. So I click here, go to backdrop, and let's find the bat on my desktop. There's my bat.png. Click here and open it. Alright, so I'm going to fix it. It's too shady, too, funny colored. I'm going to rotate it first of all, so I get it a little straighter. Let's see, a little bit more. Okay, that's good. It's got some funny stuff going on down here. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to click around our bat. We're going to use this tool that's a pencil. First of all, let's zoom in on our bat. Get up close to it. Look at all those pixels. No wonder it couldn't auto-digitize it. Click the artwork tool, the pencil, and let's click around our bat. So once I've got that clicked, I've got my artwork tool available, and I just click along this outside edge. Now I want a curve on the wing, so if I hold down Control on my keyboard of my laptop here and click, it will curve one step behind what I click. So this is going to curve over here when I click here. Keeping that in mind, I don't want to curve back here, so I let go of Control, click here, and now I want curves. So I click here, clicking here, here, and I don't want to curve here, so let go of the Control key, click, and then hold the Control key. So you've got to click one past where you want to curve. Let go of Control, clicking one past, and then hold the Control. Let go of Control, clicking one past, and then hold Control. Let go. And you get this idea? Alright. We'll quickly finish out clicking here. Whoops. See what happens if you hold Control down? You get a curve where you don't want it. So what you can do is you can click backspace on your keyboard, and I need to go back 2 because I've got 2 curves there, and that will take you back a couple of steps. There we go. Don't worry about that line there. Okay, now let go, or you're going to get a curve on the corner there. Alright, it's only as smart as the operator, right? Let go. And here we go. Let go on the corners. And we're just going to make this straight. Straight. And curve. And when I get back to the beginning, I click this icon on the left called Close Shape. And now I've got my artwork for my bat. So the reason I need this toolbar available at the bottom is because this icon at the very bottom, Toggle View Backdrop, I can turn off the backdrop and see what I've done. Good, I've got my bat. Now, if I don't like what I've done, I can edit what I've done. Once it's selected, I can click the Shape tool and change the shape of things. And maybe move this back over here a little bit. So all those nodules that I clicked before, I can move them. I don't like that this is offset from the head, so let me move this over a little bit. And move this over a little bit. You see it doing a little editing here. And just play around however you want. Now if you don't like that this is a sharp corner and you want it to be smooth, highlight it, and you notice at the end of my arrow there I've got my blue available. That means it's selected. Right click and click smooth, and that will smooth out that curve. Right click, click smooth. Right click, whoops, right click and smooth. There we go. So everything that's done, click here, and now I've got my outline. Alright, so once I've got my artwork done, I've got my one-click wonders available. We're going to click Standard Fill, and it fills with stitches. Let's see it in 3D. That's still red, that beautiful red color, and I'm kind of sparse here. We could fix that. So let's select it. And once we select it, my patterns become available. But let's go over to our shape tool and see what's going on with that area there. Oh, I might want to add maybe another point here. Add a point and maybe move it down a bit. And the angle. Let's change the angle. Let's fill this at an angle because the fill pattern itself is an angle. Okay, let's see what we got now. Still could use some work. Let's select it. And maybe let's try a different fill pattern. Oh, you know which one I like? Would look great on this bat? Called Random. It just kind of does a random fill all over. There we go. Beautiful. That's good. Perfect. Okay, and of course I could put an outline around my bat, but I go File, Save As, and save my bat, and I can use my bat on my pillow. Okay, so let's talk about how to make the wording in the pillow. Let's get a new page. And I use this tool called Wordplay. And it opens a wizard. There we go. And you can put words in the shape of any of these artwork pieces. You can actually even make your draw your own artwork to fill with lettering. But we're going to use an existing one called Round Box. And the pillow I wanted finished was 14 inches, so I'm going to make this size 13.5. And I need to change the words. So some Halloween words. Let's type Halloween. And put a comma between your words. S-P-O-O-K-Y, spooky, ghost, ghost, S-T, witch, etc. I can't type today. Witch, etc., etc. Okay, now you can choose any one of the fonts built into Floriani. You can actually, if you've got Lettering Master, make some of your own fonts from TrueType fonts. I'm just going to stick with Brio. And the size, I wanted my lettering to be at least 1.5 inches to 2 inches tall. Let's try 2 inches tall. How many paths? Do I want to put 200 words in this square? No, I do not. So I'm going to change this to, I believe I did 20 words. And the maximum colors, 15. Oh, let's just pick 8 colors maximum. And the scale, I'm going to put 50% to 100%. So it means the largest lettering generated will be 2 inches and the smallest would be 1 inch, because that's 50%. And I want all my words to be horizontal. And then we click Generate. And it thinks for a minute. It has to do a lot of hard thinking. The beauty of this little wizard is that if I don't like what it generates, I can click Generate again, and it will generate a new picture for me, some new words in new orders. All right, give it a second. It's thinking. There we go. There we go. Okay, if I don't like what it did, click Generate again. See what it does this time. Not thrilled. Click it again. I like that. Okay, so okay. Now it will come into my work screen, and let's see it in 3D. I like 3D. And there we go. All right. Now, oh, you know what I forgot to mention? Let's just open this really quick again. You want to click in Shape Type Artwork. Okay, you don't want to put a satin stitch or a run stitch around your words. You want just artwork, which is just the picture. So we left the artwork, and if you can, it's hard to see. Let's change it to a different color. Let's make it pink, and let's make it a thicker line. Let's maybe make it 2 millimeters wide so we can see our artwork really well. There we go. So there's our artwork. So we want to stay within that artwork when we're arranging our words, because that's the size of our pillow. All right, so basically what you have to do at this point is, this is the fun part. We just start getting crazy and starting moving words around. So I'm going to select a word, and what I want to do is I want to put them in lines. So put spooky here, Halloween over here, and leave a little space in between to put one of our small embroideries, and we can move things out of the way. And let's put Ghost maybe in the middle here. And let's see, we don't want a ghost by a ghost. And if I don't like the words that it generated, let's say I decide to change my mind, and by the way, I did. I'm going to put mummy here. And click apply, and now I have mummy instead of ghost. So let's put mummy maybe down here, and we could put spooky next to ghost here. And you see what I'm doing. I'm just rearranging things in kind of lines. I don't need another spooky by the spooky, but let's put witch over here. And we'd leave maybe room there for a design. So we could play around with this quite a bit and just move things how we want them. All right, so let's say we've got it all lined up and ready to go. We can delete the words that we don't want. Select it and delete it. Select it and delete it. All right, some things I can do as well. Let's select one of the words. And once it's selected, I can go over to my properties box, and all my lettering functions are available. So instead of making this Brio, let's click the drop down arrow and let's go looking through our fonts. There's a lot. That Cabbage Patch is one I made from a TrueType font. Chicken Scratch looks good. Let's try Chicken Scratch. Click there and apply Chicken Scratch. Oops, I made it too small, didn't I? I want it to be about 2 inches. There we go. And hover over it. When you get the hand, you can move it. But let's say I like mummies a lot. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it 3 inches. M-U-M-M-Y. It's kind of weird with this font, isn't it? Let's zoom in on it and let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Let's change it to something else. Oh, Child's Play is fun. Let's try that one and make sure we keep it 3 inches. And click apply. Ooh, that's really big, isn't it? A lot of spacing between the letters. Let's change our spacing maybe to -2 and click apply, and our lettering will be closer together now. Maybe a little too close, so maybe -1. Lots of fun things I can do, just play around. That's better. Let's zoom back out, double click on the magnifying glass. Yeah, it's kind of big at 3 inches. Let's go 2.5. A lot of experimenting to do. Good. Now when I start getting lettering that's quite large, if you look back at my pillow here, Halloween, this was my prototype. On my pillow, Halloween got really big, and I think I put down here boo, and it was rather large. So what you want to do is when lettering gets big, the satin stitches are too large to stitch out. They just don't look good. So at that point, you want to turn your font into a fill pattern instead of a satin stitch. So let's make Mummy. Let's select it here. And with it selected, instead of this satin stitch, let's zoom back in. Let's go over here, and this purple star is a fill pattern. And notice it's satin now, but let's change it. Let's change it to that striped one and click apply. That's cute. I like that. See how cute that is? Let's zoom back out. Let's see it without the highlight. Nice. Okay, so play with filling fonts. Let's change Spooky. Let's make it 3 inches. And let's change its font to, oh, what's another fun one? Coiled. That looks fun. Click apply. Oh, remember I forgot to keep forgetting to change the size. Click apply. There we go. Wow, that does not look good in a satin, does it? It told me that. So let's change it maybe back to 2.5. Still not good. Let's change it maybe to 1.5. That's about the maximum. If you hover over this arrow, question mark, click on it, it tells me, look at that, the maximum is 1.5. So that's the biggest I can make this font coiled without it turning funny on me. Let's select another one. Let's try another font. We could just spend all day playing around with this, couldn't we? Where's it? Oh, Crackle's cute. Let's click Crackle. And let's see how big we can make Crackle. Ooh, not very big. 0.8 inches. So let's not do Crackle. Cupid is cute. Let's see how big. Ooh, 2 inches. So let's try making that one maybe rather large. Let's try 3 and see if it'll let us go that far before it cracks up. Oh, yeah, it did that. That's good. All right, so let's maybe fill it with a fill pattern. And how you can tell, let me zoom in on Spooky. The satin stitches should be no more than 6 millimeters or 7 millimeters wide. So let's change our ruler at the top. If we right click that ruler, hover over it, right click on it, and change it to metric, I have a little measuring stick over here. Click my ruler and click some of these wide satin stitches. Yeah, that's getting to my maximum of 7.5, 7. Okay, so those will be pretty large satin stitches. So instead of doing satin stitches, what am I going to do with it? I'm going to fill it. Oh, to turn off the ruler, I click the selection, the arrow selector. Click the fill pattern, and let's pick a fill pattern for it. There we go, that's cute. Alrighty, so play around with that. The last 2 things we need to do, let's zoom back out by double clicking the magnifying glass. We need to add our little embroideries in here, and of course you'd move everything around and arrange it better. So let's go to add those embroideries. I'm going to go File, Merge Design, and I have them saved. Let's see, let's go up in the Halloween pillow folder, and let's open the candy. Open that and put it in here somewhere. That looks good, beautiful. Let's File, Merge Another Design, and let's go up. I have Ghosts, PES, open the ghost, and let's slide the ghost up here maybe, and you get that idea. So File, Merge Design, and add all your designs. Alright, so the last thing I have to do, I don't know about you, I do have a hoop that can accommodate this, but I've got to turn the hoop. Okay, the majority of people don't have a hoop this large. Okay, so this design happens to be 330 by 337 by 336. So what we've got to do is we've got to cut it in half, so and hoop it twice to stitch it. So to do that, I'm going to select half, and I'm going to use my lasso. And let's zoom in on it so we can easily select the top half. Grab the lasso, and you click, and you drag your mouse and click every time you want to turn a corner. You click again. And going down here, here, around here, and back up to the beginning. And maybe right here. That's kind of crazy what I did, but once you've got it selected, right click. And there you see we have the top half selected. So let's copy the top half, open a new page, paste it, and save it. Lovely. Now if we go back to our previous page, we can delete it, and all that remains is the bottom half. So I'm going to do a Control A to select it all and save this half. Good enough? So we've got our pillow saved in 2 pieces. And the last thing, well, I said the splitting was the last thing, but the last thing we want to do is print a template, because I'm going to have to line that template up twice to stitch this pillow. So what I do when I print templates is I select the entire design and I change the whole thing to black, because that saves me colored ink. And I don't want to print this artwork, so we're going to select the artwork and delete that because we're done with that. Okay, so here's my design all in black. And last thing I want to do when I print is I want to rotate it 90 degrees and click my print icon. And it's going to print in 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some settings I can make. I want to print it actual size. I don't want to print the color analysis. You can if you want. We're not printing it in color anyway, so I don't worry about that. I just go by whatever is on the screen of my machine or on my laptop. We're not going to print in 1 page. We want to show the crosshairs. These are the crosshairs. We want stitch mode. We do want to remove the jump stitches and say OK. And then we click print. And let's see what it's going to do. So it's going to print all the pages. There are 4 of them. Say OK, and that will print all 4 pages. Okay, then you're going to tape those 4 pages together, make your template. You'll do the same for the other half of the design, because the template is crucial to getting this in the right place. In the written instructions for this project, I've given you instructions on how to align the template on your fabric and how to hoop it each time to stitch it out. Also in the written instructions are the written software lessons to do everything we just did in the video. I've included in this project the embroidery designs, some of the small embroidery designs, so you don't have to digitize those if you don't want. That's up to you. You can practice with it. But I appreciate your time today, and thank you for joining me. Have fun with this Halloween pillow. I had a blast playing around with my different font functions. Thank you very much, and happy stitching!